Hi everyone, welcome to another video with VoiceAIWrapper. This video is meant for folks who are exploring VoiceAIWrapper as a voice AI white label platform, or in case you've signed up for a free trial and you've done your onboarding and you've landed up on our dashboard. So I'll explain how the navigation works inside our system as of today. We keep on adding new features and functionalities, and as we keep on enhancing the product, I'll release updated navigation videos. So before we start, VoiceAIWrapper has two levels of navigation. So the first level is your account level navigation, where you see the account level controls. And after you connect your respective voice AI pods, now the voice AI pod, this is the first thing that you will do inside VoiceAIWrapper, which is select whichever provider you're using and add their API keys. Once you add this, you'll see a card like this appear. And when you go inside one of these cards, you then have the second level of navigation, which is the voice API provider specific controls, or the voice pod controls. Yeah, so we will just go back here, and there's a demo pod that we have created here for your reference. I strongly recommend you take a look at this. You click on enter pod, and this will have some data which you usually don't see when you set up your account for the first time. So you'll see how your pod dashboard is going to look like. You will also get to see how some of these functionalities work. So there are click-throughs, and you will also see how your campaign logs are going to look like, what kind of information you'll be able to see in call logs, and some sample analytics, right, related to these campaigns. So I'll go back to the main navigation. So once you're done setting up your voice API pods, the next step is to set up your client portal. This is where you can connect your domain, add branding, add a support widget for your client portal. You can also add custom pages. A simulation of your client portal automatically shows up on the right, and you can add multiple pages. We'll go into detail on this, but for now, you can customize the pages, the links that you want to add to your client portal. Also, you can send your clients to a thank you page after they've made a payment. Next up is client accounts. This is where you create client accounts, create logins for them to log into the client portal, and configure what type of assets you want the client accounts to have access to. Yeah. So creating a client account is pretty straightforward. You click on add client account and add user credentials. And I've already created one. So let me show you the configuration for one of the clients that I've created. There you go. I've named it AlphaCo. And inside this client account, I have given them access to these agents. I have given them access to the campaigns that I've created. And I've set up multiple controls for them, right? And once I add them, I get a summary of what has been created, and I just update the client configuration this way. The last step is to activate billing. Again, we'll do a detailed video, but VoiceAIWrapper has a payment integration option, so where you can connect your Stripe keys, and then after you connect your Stripe keys, you can create different product types. The products that you create here are then available to be associated to a client account. So you just head over to billing and click on assign to client. That way, when your client logs in, they will be asked to pay for the plan type that you've associated with them. If you have created a voice pod, and let's say I've created a campaign inside the voice pod, I can create inbound or outbound campaigns, and I have synced my agents, right? There's a sync now button here, and I have synced phone numbers and other stuff that I've carried over from my voice provider. Now this is ready to be associated with a client account. So I have a similar client account that I had created for this video. And after you create the client account and you associate those features inside the client account, you can simulate what the client portal client experience looks like. They click on login as a user, and it'll load your client portal, which will look something like this, right? So based on what I've assigned to this client, I now see that I have a chat support widget inside the client account. Then there's a dashboard where the client can look at their billing, their usage. They can look at their billing summary. I've also added a FAQ page here. I have given them access to the campaigns that I've created, the assistants that I've created, so on and so forth. Now, going back to VoiceAIWrapper, There's another feature inside our system called SaaS Creator. This again is another way of onboarding clients. This allows you to create pricing tables like this, and this can go very detailed. You have a lot of control on what you can add and how you design your pricing table. Once you're done with this, you can just take the embed code for this pricing table, put it in your site, or take the URL behind the CTA, put it in your site, and you can automatically onboard clients in a SaaS fashion, right? So everything from creation of their client accounts, creation of their user IDs, and everything becomes fully automated, and you are pretty much running your voice AI business in a SaaS mode. So this is what the navigation looks like. So the first step that I would recommend is to go to VoiceAI Pod, set up your client portal, um, set up some campaigns, sync the assistants inside your voice pod, create client account, and log in as a client to see what the experience looks like. Moving forward, I will do detailed videos on each features, but I hope this helps you understand how the basic navigation works. Thank you. Okay, so this video will explain what are voice AI pods inside VoiceAIWrapper, and how do these work, and how can you set it up, right? So for starters, we have given you a voice AI pod with some data, because if you're starting off, you won't have much data and you won't be able to visualize what will show up and how it's going to work once you've set it up correctly. So what is a voice AI pod to start with? A voice AI pod is basically a connection with your voice API provider. So let's say if you're using VAPI, one voice API VAPI org and their respective key connected with VoiceAIWrapper is one voice AI pod. Similarly, you can add multiple orgs, VAPI orgs, or multiple workspaces from retail, or multiple orgs from 11 labs, and you can create multiple pods inside VoiceAIWrapper and use it for different clients. So let's take a look at a sample voice AI pod. So if I go inside this pod, I now get the voice AI pod specific controls, right? So the voice AI pod has items which are synced from your provider. Depending on what all assets you're there in your voice API provider, it'll sync them, including assistants, phone numbers, tools, knowledge base, whatever exists, it will sync it, right? And then it'll add some features which are voice AI wrapper specific features, starting with the ability to add number pools. So number pools is the ability to add hundreds of numbers that work in a randomized fashion if you're doing high volume calling, both inbound and outbound. And then you can associate these pools to campaigns. We differentiate inbound and outbound calling into inbound and outbound campaigns, and there's an entire cadence that you can use for both inbound and outbound, and we'll show that in detail when we do videos for inbound and outbound campaigns. All right, so this is how number pools work. Next, we come to campaigns. So again, we populated this with a few sample campaigns. So if you take a look at the outbound campaign, you are able to add leads via API from any source. You can feed leads from your CRM system. There's an add lead, there's a remove lead, and there's an update lead API. Which means you can do speed to call campaigns. If somebody's filling up a lead form, for example, you can immediately feed that lead into a campaign, trigger a call with an AI agent, qualify it, and book a meeting on your calendar. Yeah. Of course, you have the option to upload via CSV, and you can add leads manually. Next up, under campaign settings, you have an option to select. In case of VAPI, you can select either an assistant or a squad or a workflow. You can pick either a single number, or you can pick a number pool in case you have multiple numbers connected to a pool. There's a smart feature called callback feature. I'll show it to you in a live campaign. This allows the agent to call back a contact. If a contact picks up the call and says, "Call me back in 5 minutes," this empowers the agent to be able to call back and improves your connect rate. Then you have campaign schedule. You have control over what days of the week your agent should be calling, how many dial attempts it should be making per lead, what is the maximum number of dial attempts per lead, and the gap between calls, and so forth. Lastly, you have an option to add a webhook here. So let's say you're running end-to-end automation or a make automation, or you use GHL or HubSpot or Pipedrive, and you want to send all the campaign information, the call logs information, over to a third-party system. This is where you will add the inbound webhook, and you can round trip between, let's say, a GHL by adding leads via API and then sending all the campaign information back to GHL, for example, using the inbound webhook. All right, so similarly, we have inbound campaigns. So when you set up, when you want to set up an inbound assistant, you would set up an inbound campaign. This also gives you the ability to create a web widget. I'll show that to you in detail in one of our demo pods. Let me go here. And if I move over to this demo campaign, there you go. So I have I mean, this is just an example. You can add logos, you can add styling, and you can do a whole lot of stuff to your widget. So this is something that you can add to your client's website in case you're an agency running this for a client. The embed code is going to be white label, of course, and this is a value add that you can offer on top of giving them access to a inbound assistant. So that covers campaigns. Now, a couple of other things. When you're running inbound campaigns, you will have your account populated with contacts. So everybody who's calling in, it'll add it as a contact. So this works like a mini CRM. It's not supposed to be one, but you will be able to, add all contacts to your account, including the call log. So this is the account level contact history and the account level call history. And when you go to a specific campaign, you will get the campaign level lead information and the campaign level call information. Okay, so this is how this is the information that's available inside VoiceAI Pod. It has some quick links to go into campaigns and logs. You can also use this toggle to control what concurrency you want to allocate to your campaigns, whether you want to use all your concurrency limit for outbound or whether you want to use them for inbound. Again, the concurrency limit is based on what your provider gives you. We do not control or manage concurrency. We just allow you to decide how much concurrency you're going to use for an account. So that's it. That's how voice API AI pods work. And the assets that you create, when I say assets, the campaigns that you create, the assistants that you sync, everything that you sync inside a specific voice API pod, this then becomes available to be associated with client accounts. So we'll do another detailed video on client accounts, but when you create a client account, you under client configuration, you get an option to associate assets. And these assets are the ones that you create inside your voice AI pod. I hope this was helpful. We'll look forward to meeting you on the next video. All right, in this video, I'm going to cover how VoiceAIWrapper allows you to create inbound campaigns or inbound assistants. And for that, the first step to follow is to watch our earlier videos where we explain how the navigation inside our product works and how to set up voice AI pods. Now, it's important to watch that video because you will be able to create campaigns inside voice AI pods. So I've already configured a pod by adding my VAPI keys, and I'm going to enter this pod. You can do the same thing with any of the other providers that we support, including 11 Labs, Retail, VAPI, and so on. So I'm going to go into this VAPI pod, and as you can see, we automatically sync your assistants from VAPI, and the ones that I need to use, I can click on sync now, and this will now be available inside my VoiceAIWrapper account. Similarly, we sync phone numbers and workflows and whatever assets you want to carry over from VAPI or sync it from VoiceAIWrapper, we sync it here. To create an assistant, you would need to make sure that you have an agent that you have created inside VAPI synced with VoiceAIWrapper, and you would need to make sure that you have a phone number synced inside VoiceAIWrapper, right? So next step to create an inbound campaign is to just click on add campaigns. And then for specific providers like VAPI, there are multiple configs available. For others who do not offer workflows and squad, for example, there's just a single config. And you would go ahead and pick your assistant. You can select inbound, which includes a web widget. Apart from one provider, which is Bowl now, we pretty much support voice AI widgets for all providers and then you hit save, right? So I already have a campaign created here. I'm going to show you that. So inside this campaign, I have settings, and I have selected the assistant, the phone number that this campaign needs to use. In case I want this campaign to be active for a certain period, I can select a start date and an end date. For inbound campaigns that you want to start immediately, always choose a date in the past, right? And it's clearly written here. And then I can select a calling window, or I can keep it 24/7, and along with the time zone and the days of the week that are operational. Now, this might not apply for everyone, but there are certain agencies and clients who want the AI to kind of be functional only during specific hours of the day or days of the week. So these controls come in handy. Lastly, there's an option to add a webhook here. So if you want to take all the information that you're getting from these inbound calls and you want to take it to your N8N or a make automation or send it to a GHL or some CRM, you can just add a webhook here, and it's going to send the campaign data outside of VoiceAIWrapper to whatever destination you choose. When inbound campaigns are running, based on the structured data that you've enabled in your prompt and your voice API provider, our system will start capturing lead information here. It will also start capturing call logs, transcripts, and all of that. And you have a choice of sharing with your client. We also offer the white label web widget functionality. This is an add-on. So you can basically design web widgets with an embed code which is white label, and you can add it to your client's website, and this can also intercept incoming calls. And lastly, when your campaign is running, this is also going to start generating analytics, right? And then you have a choice of sharing these campaign stats and these dashboards with your client via the client portal. So take a look at another video where I've explained how to set up client portal. Basically, when you set up your client portal and they log into your white label portal, your clients will be able to see the account level dashboard, and they'll also be able to see their campaign level stats, just like you see it here. And this can also be shown at their in their campaign level analytics, right? And what your clients get to see and what they don't get to see is completely depend upon what you configure in your client account configuration here. So make sure you watch that video before you start creating inbound campaigns and share it with your clients. Thank you, and I'll look forward to meeting you on the next video. Hi, this video is about creating outbound AI agents and how to track the data, how to integrate with third-party systems while you're running outbound AI calling campaigns using VoiceAIWrapper. So before you watch this, I'll highly recommend you watch the earlier videos where I explain how the navigation inside our product works, how to set up your client portal, and I've also created another video where I show you how to create inbound campaigns with the ability to create a web widget to capture incoming queries. We segregate incoming and outgoing calls into campaigns for the sake of analytics and reporting and segregation. And there are certain features which are unique to our inbound workflow and unique to our outbound workflow. So in this video, we're going to talk about outbound. So before we create an outbound campaign, it's important to take a look at VoiceAI pods. Again, there's a detailed video on VoiceAI pod. So VoiceAI pod is where I will connect my voice provider key. I'm going to use VAPI as an example here. So I've connected my VAPI keys, and I'm going to do outbound only. So I'm going to choose the maximum concurrency, which is control at my voice API provider, of course. But I'm going to choose 10 out of 10 concurrency for my outbound campaign, and I'm going to hit enter pod, right? So inside the pod, you'll see a campaign tab here. Before I move on to campaigns, I also wanted to explain that we have a unique feature called number pools inside VoiceAIWrapper. Number pools allows you to dial out from multiple numbers. You can create a pool with like hundreds of numbers, and they can work in randomized fashion when you're doing outbound. That spreads the volume across multiple numbers and prevents your numbers from being marked as spam. So we are going to talk about one of the outbound campaigns that I've already created. So in terms of adding leads, you can add leads via API. Again, that API is white label, which means you can also allow your clients to add their API to add leads. So there's an add lead, remove lead, update lead API. Now what this means is, firstly, of course, you can add leads dynamically from any source, from an end automation, a make.com, or let's say a GHL or a HubSpot. Or if you want to do a speed to lead campaign, if you have your clients are running ad campaigns and then people are filling in the phone numbers and you want a call to go out instantly, this is what you would use to create a speed to lead campaign, for example. Yeah. And then if you have a scenario where there are lead attributes which are changing, right? So for example, there's a custom value. You see first name, last name, email here. There might be a custom value which might be budget, for example, right? So if a budget changes, then your agent might need to personalize that call based on the value of that custom attribute. So in that scenario, using the update lead API is super helpful, and you can use all these APIs parallelly, right? So this allows you to pull lead information from anywhere and add them to your campaign. And then under campaign settings, you have controls over which system you want to use, whether you want to use a single phone number or you want to use a number pool. You have controls over your campaign cadence. You have control over how frequently you want to dialogue to a lead. And then you have a webhook configuration wherein you can basically send all the campaign information via webhook to, let's say, a end automation or a make automation or a GHL or a HubSpot or any other source, third-party source where you want to see the data, right? You will be able to see all the call logs that are generated, including the transcript and the recordings, and you can choose whether you want to show them to the clients or not. And then every campaign is going to generate its analytics. I don't have much data in my account, but if this was a live client account, you would see analytics generated in the campaigns, and along with cost metrics, which are private only to you as an admin. Clients are not able to see the cost metrics in case you are adding a top up on your base cost. This is only visible to you. Clients would see something like this. I have a demo client portal. So client would see their billing history, their usage history here, and this is going to be as per the billing terms that you have set for them, right? So this is how outbound campaign works inside VoiceAIWrapper. Let me know if you have any questions, and happy to meet you over the next demo. Thank you. All right, so welcome to another video with VoiceAIWrapper. In this video, we'll show you how to create your white label agency portal and how to create and customize your client portal, which you want your clients to see when they log in. First thing that we will need to do is to set up a voice API, a voice AI pod, and there's a video on our channel which explains in detail how to set up a voice AI pod. This is simply connecting your voice API provider and creating a configuration here so that you have assets created and available to share with clients. So make sure you watch that before you hop on to creating a client portal. So in this video, I'm going to focus on the client portal. So the first thing that we do here is add your subdomain. To add your subdomain, if you have a domain like xyz.com, all you need to do is just type a word before it, like voice.xyz.com or ai.xyz.com. You don't have to do anything else on your DNS provider. Just add it here and click on add subdomain. Our system will automatically generate these DNS entries within seconds. Yeah. You can select your DNS provider from this drop down, and it will basically give you the entries which are relevant for that specific provider. If you don't find your provider, just select others, not in the list, and you'll be good. Now, one of the questions that I get very frequently is about CAA records. Is this required? Yes, it is required. There are certain providers which do not offer CAA. In that case, as long as you make sure you've added the rest of the 4 CNAME records, you are good, right? So how do we go about this? The first thing you do is you ensure that you are adding the DNS entries correctly without any typos, and that's why we've given you these options to copy the values and paste it directly in your DNS provider. And you make sure you add all the entries, come back here, and there'll be a button which says validate. You do that before 72 hours because the certificates will expire. And this is how it works in general. for fresh DNS entries, it will expire if these are not validated within 72 hours. So if you wish to set up your subdomain, I would recommend you do it in one go instead of doing it in multiple settings. After you add your DNS entries, just go to a website called dnschecker.org. That's D Delta N November S Sierra checker.org, and put in your entire subdomain and check if the new CNAME records have populated. That's the easiest, the most reliable, fastest way to check if your DNS records have propagated. Sometimes it takes minutes, sometimes it takes hours, depending on what DNS provider you work with. Once you see those values populated, you come back here and you click on validate, and VoiceAIWrapper will show you a success message. So if it says success, that means your portal, your subdomain, your white label subdomain is live, and if you click on it, you will be able to launch your client portal. Now, before we expect things to show up in the client portal, we need to take care of a few things. Branding is optional, but I recommend you do that so that you get a first-hand experience of what your clients are going to see and experience. It's useful to add a support widget to your client portal. You can add anything here. All chatbots give you an embed code. In case you don't have one, you can use the embed code which is offered by VAPI or 11 Labs, and you can just white label it using our system. So inside our product, you can create white label web widgets. You can just use that for your client support portal. The next thing is to give it a personalized touch. You can also create custom pages and links, and you can be a bit more creative here. This is a creators platform, so you can create anything you want to. You can embed iframes. There are certain tokens that you can use to personalize the page that your users see when they land on that iframe. You can also create pages, right? And there are a lot of edit options. So usually the use case here is to create FAQ pages or about us pages. You can also take people to your website anywhere you want to, right? And the simulation here on the right hand side, it shows how these additional pages and links are going to show up on your client portal. So you have full control over what you want your clients to see and where do you want them to see those things. Now, lastly, right after they finish your payment, so assuming you've set up your payment integration and you set up your products and you're onboarding your clients with on VoiceAIWrapper, on the white label version of VoiceAIWrapper, which is your platform, you would probably want clients to see a thank you message, right? So this is a good way of starting off on a good note. So you can create, I've created a basic thank you page as an iframe here, right? And it's a simple page which I've created on Lovable, and it just says thank you, and it populates, right? So it has a welcome video and it says thank you, right? And you can do something similar or obviously better, and then you can use that thank you page to show up as a redirect after they've made a payment, and you can set it up here, right? So that's how you set up your client portal. So once you're done with your client portal, the next step is to set up a client account. Before you create an actual client account, you can always set up a test client account and log in as the client to see how does the client portal look like. So I'll explain that in detail in another video. Okay, so I hope you're watching this video after you watched the first 3 videos, which is the product navigation, how to set up voice AI pods, and how to configure your client portal. Because if you haven't watched them, then skipping to this video wouldn't make a lot of sense, and you miss most of the major items that you need to accomplish before you actually set up a client portal, right? So I'll just summarize the steps you need to take before you go ahead and create client accounts. Client accounts are portal where you are basically offering them agents or campaigns or assets that you want them to see. So for them to be able to access all of that, and even for you to be able to view it on your client portal, those need to exist, right? So for them to exist, you need to make sure that you have created those assets. So for example, I have this VAPI pod, and if I enter this pod, inside this pod, I have synced a couple of assistants from my VAPI account. I have a couple of phone numbers that I've synced. And I'm not going to go into knowledge base and tools, but let's say I have synced these items into this pod, right? And I have also created a couple of campaigns. We'll go deep down into campaign functionality in one of our videos, but for now, um, you can create inbound and outbound campaigns inside VoiceAIWrapper. You can also create white label web widgets inside VoiceAIWrapper. So I've created some of these, and I've also created something which is unique to VoiceAIWrapper called number pools. Right? So all of this I've created inside this pods, which means now these are assets inside this particular pod. Yeah. And after I created this, now I have assets which are now available in my account that I can now share when I create client portals. So when I create client portals, the first steps are very simple. Give it a name, add user logins for the clients to log in, access your portal, and then the next step would be to associate items that you want to work inside the client portal. That's where you need all these items that I showed you a couple of minutes back, right? So I'll go into one that I've already configured. So for example, this is a client account, and I've created a configuration called AlphaCo. So what is a client account? Once again, this is the name of the client, and each client can have configurations. What are configurations? Configurations are combinations of agents plus knowledge base plus tools. You might want to, there are some agencies who have like one configuration per client. There are some agencies who have multiple configurations. You might be an agency working with a client, and you might be running something for their customer success team. You might be running some other config with their sales team. So that's why we allow you to configure those, customize those configuration. You can add multiple configurations to your client account. So just for context, if this is a dummy client account I'm using for this demo, so you see this drop down, it says AlphaCo. So assuming I was part of the sales team, this would probably say sales org. If I was part of customer success, they would say customer success. Sales team would have different type of assistants, different type of campaigns. Customer success would have different type of campaigns. You can do stuff like that. You can, of course, create absolutely completely different portals for different teams in the same company, or you can have everybody log into the same portal and have different configurations for different teams. So that's why we give you that flexibility here. Now, if you notice this configuration that I've created, I have associated the items which I just showed you inside my WAPI pod. I have associated the agents to this, and I've given it view only rights, right? I can also allow people to edit the agent prompt, which I don't want them to do. So I've just done view only. And then no workflow access, phone numbers, I can hide it, but I've decided to make it visible. And no knowledge base access. No, I want them to see campaigns. I don't want them to be able to edit. So I've given them two campaigns, inbound and sample. Bad names, but it's a demo account. And then I have some more granular campaigns controls, right? I've given them, I want them to be able to edit their leads and all of that. So so the rest of the things are self-explanatory. Now I've given them these campaigns, and the reason I see these campaigns is because I've created them in the first place. Without this, you won't see anything here. So the first step before you even start configuring client accounts is to create campaigns and sync assistants and phone numbers inside your respective voice AI pod. Yeah, I have created these, so I'm gonna hit next. I get a summary page which says, okay, this is what your configuration looks like. I have given them access to a dashboard. I've assigned two assistants, phone number, and I'm going to just update. I'm happy with this. Yeah. So now the last step would be to associate billing with the client. So I'm going to do a separate video on how to set up products. But for billing, you would first of all need to ensure that you have a Stripe connected with VoiceAIWrapper. That creates the connection between your Stripe account and VoiceAIWrapper. And then you can go into products and create a product type of your choice. Select billing frequencies. There's a whole load of options out there in this feature. So I'll do a detailed video on this separately. But for now, once you have created that product, you can go inside the client account, go to billing, and you can go ahead and just assign that plan to that client account. Assigning it means when the client logs in with the user ID and credential that you have created for that client, they would hit a paywall, which is your Stripe account, and they would need to pay before they start using your services. Okay, so that's how you create a client account. Now, if you want to test it out, of course, all of us would want to do that before we share with an actual client. I would go ahead and set up a user here, and I can just click on this login as a user, right? So this is going to open up a screen, and it's going to take me to my client portal, right? So in my case, my client portal has this chat widget, which I just added. This is the chat widget which I added in my client portal here, right? This is the code. So I get to see the chat widget, and I have the dashboard, yeah, and then I see the assistants. Remember the assistants that I connected? Both of them show up here, and I had 2 campaigns. So if I go to campaigns, I can see them here. I have given them access to view analytics, so my clients can see analytics. Yeah, I've given them access to a control campaign, so they have an option to activate and deactivate campaigns. I can decide not to give them access. Then I've given them my clients have an option to control their billing, right? So this is the plan that I assigned to them. It's active. They can cancel the subscription. They can buy add-on packs. They have full control. It's a proper, fully functional SaaS product. And I had also added 2 custom pages here, right? So I've added a about us page and a question page. Both of them are an iframe. Now let's see how they look like on the client side. Okay, so I'm gonna head over to the custom page that I created with Lovable. So there you go, right? So this is something which is created on Lovable. It's an external page. I can still embed it as a FAQ page, and then about us, I've created an external link which takes them to my so-called website. It's not. So in case you want people to go to your brand website, you want to take them somewhere else, you can add your own custom links here. All right, I hope this helps. This is how you set up your client portals and you test them before you share it with clients. We have another feature which automates the entire client onboarding process. I'll do a detailed video on that in a bit. Hi, we will cover payment integration and rebilling your clients inside VoiceAIWrapper. Before you watch this video, I strongly recommend you watch the earlier videos. Most of the stuff that I'm going to show you here will make sense only if you know how to set up the rest of the items when you start putting your VoiceAIWrapper white label together. So with payment integration, the first step that you do is connect your Stripe keys. Now this allows us to write into your Stripe account, which means whatever product you create here gets created automatically inside Stripe. Remember, the Stripe integration does not allow edit or deletion using APIs. So while you can create products, you can archive them, you cannot edit the products created with this integration. That's how Stripe works in general. You cannot edit the products afterwards, and if you edit anything inside Stripe, it's going to break the sync, right? So if you created a product by mistake, you can go ahead and archive it, and don't change anything here once it's created. If you don't want to use it, just archive it. So what are products? So VoiceAIWrapper allows you to create client portals, and inside these client portals, you can onboard your clients, and these clients can also be assigned a billing plan to pay for. So to show you an example, this is my client portal that I've just created for the demo, and then my client can go into their billing portal, and they can manage their subscription. So this is what we call product, which you can create inside VoiceAIWrapper, and you can have your client pay you on your white label portal. So if I head over to products, there are multiple product types to choose from, and these run off Stripe, so they work based on the metered billing that Stripe offers. This is self-explanatory: product name and description. We support multiple currencies. If you see one, if you have a currency that we don't currently support, just let us know. We'll add it right away. Under pricing model, you can bill based on usage minutes, or you can charge clients based on subscription plus overage, or you can charge them a subscription plus usage pack. Make sure you read this text just below the plan type. So for example, subscription plus overage is always charged at the end of the billing period. If you want to charge somebody upfront, use the subscription plus usage pack option. This is something that will charge your client upfront, right? We will add more plan types here, but at the time of making this video, these are the pricing options that exist inside our product. So I'll just show you an example with subscription and overage. Let's say I select the billing frequency monthly, and then I can go ahead and set up a subscription fee price of $99, and maybe I'm just including 9 minutes. And let's say beyond those 9 minutes of usage, let's say 11 labs or maybe a VAPI is charging you 10 cents per minute and you want to mark it up by 20 cents, you can just set up the markup price here. And this is going to ensure that your client is being billed at that rate for their usage, right? Similarly, when you create usage packs are voice packs that your clients can top up, right? So when they go to the billing portal and they need a few more minutes, they can buy usage packs from inside their client portal. Usage packs can be created here. It's pretty straightforward. All you need to do is define the number of minutes and the pricing. And when you set up a client account, after you've created your products, all the products and the usage packs will be available in your product catalog, right? And you can just go in here and assign the plan or the usage pack that you want to assign to a specific client. So you'll see an assign to client button here. Click on it. This means it becomes available for the client to buy. And if you remove it, it's no longer available for the client to buy. Right? And since this is a Stripe integration, so you have options such as canceling a client subscription from the admin console. Your client also has the option to manage a subscription themselves using the customer portal. You can also, as an admin, cancel the subscription, or you can cancel it immediately inside your portal. So this is how payment integration works inside VoiceAIWrapper. All right, so we're going to cover an automated client onboarding system, or a feature that we offer inside VoiceAIWrapper for agencies. This is as good as having your own SaaS product without having to build an automated customer onboarding or a billing system. We call this SaaS Creator. So I strongly recommend you watch our earlier videos before you get to this, because unless you cover VoiceAI pods and client portal and client setup, it might not make much sense to you jumping right into SaaS Creator. So the way SaaS Creator works, it allows you to create pricing tables. There's a lot of details available inside pricing tables. You can add the plan types. You can create different plan types in your account, and you can configure and add it to a pricing table which looks like this. And then you can take the embed code and put it directly in your site. So whenever somebody comes and signs up, and again, the CTA and all of this can be customized when they sign up, this entire process of creating a client account, creating a user ID, assigning a payment plan is fully automated. Completely automates your client onboarding system. If you have a specific style sheet or a CSS on your website, you can just take the link behind the CTA and embed it on your website, and this will have the whole client onboarding automation in play without you having to manage anything manually. Right, so that's how SaaS Creator works. Happy to take more questions and look forward to meeting you on a product demo.